My pleasure to introduce Larry Caldwell and Joe Scannell. Larry and Joe are going to be talking with us about NRCS partnering with U.S. Engineering Solutions Corporation to implement the web-based application named DamWatch to monitor and store data for several watershed dams built with USDA assistance in 47 states. Let me do a sound check and make sure Larry and Joe, are you on the line?
I'm here. This is Larry.
And Joe, welcome. And I'm going to push the presentation over to Joe. Today, just to let you know, folks, we'll be sending the presentation controls over to folks so that they can show that new technology directly from their machine. And this is truly new technology. Joe, you're out in Connecticut, aren't you?
That is correct.
Larry, you're out in Oklahoma.
That is right.
And Ray's in Washington State. And we've got people from all across the nation. Take it away, Larry and Joe.
Thank you very much, Ray. This is Larry Caldwell. I'm an engineer and watershed specialist working with the Oklahoma Conservation Commission. Joe is the president of U.S. Engineering Solutions and patent holder for this application called DamWatch. And Joe and I are going to do a tag team here together to demonstrate this. Just a couple introductory comments. Oklahoma Conservation Commission has partnered with NRCS and U.S. Engineering Solutions to deploy this web-based application that's going to help project sponsors and NRCS with managing watershed projects across the nation. With this system, the users can access a tremendous amount of watershed program files and data, and we'll be demonstrating some of that. It's also tied into the National Weather Service radar system, so that if a drainage area of a particular watershed dam gets a high rainfall event that could result in spillway flow, a user can get a cell phone or email alert directly to their device. And you'll see there's many, many other features. We'll be able just to hit the highlights of this. So with this system, for the first time ever, NRCS, state and field office staff, as well as sponsors and other users, are going to have access to all of this information that can be accessed from your personal computer at home, a mobile device, or whatever. It does not have to be in a USDA office. There's a limited number of tablet computers. It's also a part of this system that have been deployed. Oklahoma tested this system as a pilot for the past 2 years. It has exceeded all of our expectations. We are very excited that it is being expanded nationwide to cover about 12,000 watershed dams in 47 states. And this should be available to everyone this fall. Instead of just talking about this or having a PowerPoint presentation, we thought it'd be good just to give you a live online demo of this. So I'm going to kind of walk through this, and Joe Scannell is going to be showing this on the screen. What you got in front of you right now is the home screen, home page for the Oklahoma pilot system. That'll look very similar when you get to the national system. Your state will come up instead of Oklahoma at this stage. There's a control panel there that you'll find as you get into the system that it's very intuitive, and once you go through it a couple of times, you don't need any user's manuals or whatever. What we'd like to do to demonstrate this, if Joe, if you could go in the upper left there where there's a select a project, when you click on that, it'll be a drop-down menu, and that is the 129 watershed projects that Oklahoma has with 2,107 watershed dams. If we click on Stillwater Creek, that's one close to where I live here, where our office is, you'll see the boundaries of that watershed project there in front of you. And if you click on the dam icon over to the left, that's a little gray box, there will be 34 boxes that pop up. Each one of those is a watershed dam, and you can see them listed down below. If we click on one of those dams, and we'll go to Stillwater Creek Site 40, which is also a multi-purpose site here just north of Stillwater. When that pops up, you'll see information that's available once it's loaded for all of the dams that's in the system. You can see in the map screen up there the shaded area. That is the drainage area for this particular dam. It involves a few square miles. The information on the bottom, you see 5 tabs across there. The general one that you see on the bottom is just basic information on location, when the dam was built, and so forth. If you go over to Design tab, that's all the good information that engineers like in terms of all the capacities, the heights, pipe sizes, and so forth for that particular dam. If you click to the Sponsors tab, that's the contact information for the sponsors who have operation and maintenance responsibilities for that particular dam, and contact information. PDLs are the potential damage locations. We'll get into that here in a minute, but those are all the individual locations downstream. Then in the unlikely event that the dam should fail, it shows those are all of the houses, businesses, and so forth that could be impacted, including the depth of water and maximum depth of water and the time the peak would get there. If we go to data sources, those are the 4 National Weather Service radar systems that provide coverage. The radar systems provide coverage to this particular drainage area. You can see off to the right, the way this is set up, that on each one of these dams, there's a threshold amount that's based, rainfall amount, that is based upon the capacity of that dam. So in this particular one, see the 8.7 inches, if that occurs over that drainage area, that will theoretically rise the water in the reservoir from the principal spillway up to the auxiliary spillway, and it would start to flow. And then there will be another alert, and an alert would go out at that time. If it continues to rain and another 2 inches occurs, that'd be 10.7 inches, another alert will go out as a spillway flow alert. And that goes to whatever device you sign up for. If we go on to File tab, that's where all the good information is available. If you see the icons on the left, you have a camera, that's where all the photos are. If you go down one, there'll be Documents. That's where O&M agreements, and you might open up one of the agreements there. This is the operation and maintenance agreement back in 1967 for this particular dam. Also on the documents, you'd have different inspection reports, assessment reports, or any information that a user would want to have access. As you get more documents, you can upload those to the system. You go down to the next one is as-built drawings, a little triangle there. Those are the as-built construction drawings, and on those you can have access electronically to the drawings that showed what was actually constructed and any changes. The nice part about this is that you can actually expand these, and for some of us getting our age, you can actually read what is on some of those smaller drawings and see all of the prints that's there. Again, all of this is accessible. It can be accessible through a computer tablet while you're out in the field, and go from there. My screen just went blank. So if you keep on going, Joe, we'll...
Sure. So picking up where Larry left off, the tabs that you saw under the File tab continue on with audible files, so inspectors or field personnel can audibly record inspections or observations and save those as files for being shared and listened to by others, all this again collaborating in real time on the platform. And then also the video category allows you to take video, all of which have file size limitations that will automatically be managed by the application. So when the user try to upload a file that it's too large, the application will then indicate that this is a file that's too large and you have to reduce the size to a certain level. So that's how we control the size of the database.
Okay, my screen is back, Joe.
You're back? Okay.
Sorry about that.
I'll give you back the ball.
Okay, the next is alerts, and those are a listing of all the alerts that have occurred on this particular the dam from the NEXRAD system or from USGS gauging stations. Those are all about 4,000 gauges are tied into the system, so you can get real-time data from gauging stations as well as from the radar system. There will also be tied into the seismic for earthquakes, getting seismic data from this also. If you do have dams out there that have instrumentation on reservoir height or whatever, and it goes to an IP address, you can also access the your instrument readings from those also. If we go to tickets, that's another powerful piece of this that you can write tickets, and it's a good place to document information for that site. This is especially important as we get a number of people close to retirement age where we can capture their institutional knowledge before they walk out the door on some of the small pieces of information that makes a huge difference on a particular site. You can have information tickets. You can have maintenance tickets. If you have maintenance that's required, you can schedule it. You can get alerts, notifications when that is to be done, if it hasn't been done. Inspections, you can schedule your annual inspections. Also on monitor, if you have an event out there that occurs, you can have a monitoring ticket where different people, as they go out day after day, can upload their observations. They can add photos or whatever to it so that everyone having access to the system can keep track of where things are at. And a breach is obvious if you have a breach event where you document those. If we go back to the General tab, there's another neat feature on this that if you have a high-hazard dam that has a breach inundation map that's been developed, and that it'll show that. If you put that into the system, the red area there is the area that theoretically be inundated in the rare event that dam should fail. So that shows the area that would be impacted. If you click on the display PDLs, those are the individual homes and houses that could be in danger. Each one of those triangles is an individual house or business. If you click on each one of those triangles, you'll see a picture of the home. You'll see the maximum depth of water and the time that the flood wave would get to that point. Again, that information is available if the states have that available and upload it to the system. One other piece, and we're getting close to our 10 minutes here, but one other piece I'd like to show to you, and I think we'll just describe it instead of going through it, but it has a navigation piece that if you have help during an event and inspections, or you have new employees, you can go to the navigation event and you can put in your address, you can put in your structure, and it'll give you turn-by-turn directions on how to get to the next dam. That is especially helpful for new employees or people that are coming in to assist. Once you get to one dam and you're going to the next, you can simply put in the next one and it'll show the location as far as how you get there, show it on the map, as well as give you turn-by-turn directions. The last feature I wanted to highlight was the project data. If you see the icon that has a large P on it there in the center, those are all of the watershed projects, 129 watershed projects in Oklahoma. If you click on one of those, again, you'll see a number of tabs. One of the things I wanted to highlight was the benefits tab. That's the information when the watershed work plan was originally prepared and the economic justification was developed. These are the monetary benefits that were derived at that time and updated to current dollars in terms of showing flood damage reduction, whether it's agriculture, non-agriculture. So that gives some good information on telling the watershed story out there on during large events. Also, you can go over to sponsors, and in that tab, that shows the sponsors that all of the sponsors for that particular watershed project and their contact information. If you go over to structures tab, that's another place to access the information on each of the dams that are in each one of those watershed projects. And the last tab there is file, and again, those are documents that represent the entire watershed project. The watershed work plan would be there, as well as photos or any other documents that are there. This is a great system for accessing a lot of old files and documents that can assure that they'll be accessible for future generations. In the past, you had to know where they were located and know which file drawer down in the basement many times they're stored in. In some cases, the records have already been destroyed. But this is a great place to retrieve all of those records and have them at a place where you can access them at any time. If we got a couple minutes, Joe, do you have anything you want to add on features that wanted to highlight that we have not done so?
Well, no, I mean, it's just, I think, worth pointing out that the Oklahoma statewide system, which covers about 2,000 to 2,100 dams, it has over 32,000 files, just resident the file cabinet, if you will. Also, that system was limited to just rainfall as far as the data sources that we acquire, but as you can see in the palette, we're getting, meteorologic data, hydrologic data, weather warnings from the forecast centers, tidal surge from the Hurricane Center for coastal states, seismic coming out of USGS ShadeCast, the NRCS SnowTel and SnowDAS snow water equivalency. So we get combined rain on snow events with it's an algorithm that we use that basically determines we might have a 4 or 5 inch rain threshold, but then if we get 2 inches of rain and an equivalent water effect of 3 inches, that'll trigger an alert as a combined or amalgamated event. The devices is also something we're doing in Ohio right now with in situ gauges, as well as with the Connecticut DEP and DOT. So as far as the technology goes, it's been around for about 12 years. It's just been in our 6th generation, and it's monitoring pretty much 15,000 dams nationally and about 20,000 bridges. So it's a pretty elaborate decade.
I might say in terms of a national deployment, the national deployment on this system is scheduled for September 1, here in about 30 days. It'll be available first to NRCS state office folks for them to get familiar and to check out the data. And then it'll be rolled out for project sponsors and field staff as state conservationists determine. There will be some webinars coming up to assist users with training and getting them on. Might say all of this is not open to the general public. You have to have a username and e-authentication to get into the system, so it's secure from that standpoint. We have completed the training for one administrator in each NRCS state office. That has been completed, except for just a few states with a few dams. And so we are awaiting the September 1 date when this will be deployed nationwide, and I'm sure you'll be hearing more about it. Again, we found in Oklahoma that it has exceeded our expectations in many different levels. And I think having a system available for project sponsors, conservation district employees, NRCS staffs, where they can load data as they get new inspection reports, as they find more data, they can load it up into the system, and it'll be give you some good peace of mind to have it where you can retrieve it, especially during large storm events and when you have the need for that data on a timely basis.
I think at this point, Larry, we should probably open it up for questions if there are any.
Very good.
Larry and Joe, let me break in now and say thanks so much for your presentation. Folks, if you've got a question for Larry.